Kelsey, this film does a great job of exploring the gray areas. And as the name suggests, these very flawed individuals are playing God to some degree and deciding who lives or dies via these transplants. And your performance really highlights the weight of the situation. What about your character were you able to really relate to?
It's interesting. At first, it's hard for me to relate to him because he's made so many choices that go away from humanity. He distances himself from the human experience quite a bit as a character, and that was fascinating to me, challenging to me, because I'm a big softy, and this guy was pretty tough. But I was drawn to the subject matter. I was drawn to the phrase, certainly God Committee, because obviously it was coined decades ago, but the idea that these people put themselves in that position and actually administer it with a great sense of responsibility, and how I guess the nuances of that challenge, change their personalities. And his specific story, this character, the reason I wanted to play it was he's facing a lot of things, a sort of a disadvantaged childhood in terms of just being a human being, and the decisions he's made in his life that have taken life away from him in a weird way. It's a fascinating movie and tragic. I cry whenever I see it.
Julia, your character gets a real trial by fire on her first day in the committee, and she's thrown into a really complex situation. Can you discuss Jordan's, situation? And she's a bit naive at first, but she quickly, figures out how to operate.
Yeah, she shows up at the hospital and is pitching herself for the position, and they hire her on the spot because there's an opening. She's now on this committee, and a heart comes into the hospital, organ donor. They have 3 or something patients that that are candidates, and that the heart is still beating. They have something like 3 hours before they have to operate, or the organ's going to fail. So yes, she's her first day is an exciting one, and you get the sense that she's very idealistic, and she is emotionally invested in her patients and thinks of them as full human beings. It gets into disagrees with Kelsey's character about how to assess the patient, so he wants to be very statistical and scientific and mathematic about it. And then we see her later in life when she's the head of the committee, and she's kind of spaced out and probably disillusioned with the system, or has been beaten down by the system a little bit. She's hardened.
Kelsey, you've played such a wide range of roles, from comedy to drama, but, this really sticks out as, a unique role for you, and your range is just, really incredible. Do you approach each role the same way, or does it really vary depending on what's needed from the character?
Yeah, I picked roles based upon the fact that I haven't done it before. That's pretty much what it is. In terms of how I approach them in performing them, I just try to uncover and be honest. Once in a while, like let's say if I was a gunfighter, I'd learn to do gun tricks. But you're a doctor, you make sure you understand how to behave in an operating room, that kind of thing. But you don't necessarily go and operate on people. Nobody's going to let you anyway. But and that's a good thing. But it is to be as honestly in the moment of that character while you play it in that set of circumstances, and to just discover what the truth is in that moment. It's as you spend 30 years doing it, you kind of just eventually you just have to decide that you're not doing anything, and let the story tell itself through you. That's kind of the way I approach it. Maybe that's a little esoteric. Maybe it's flimsy. I'm sorry, but that's the best I can do.
Makes sense to me. Thank you both for your time today.
Thank you.
Thanks.